building. Doing the things I like to do, man. Enjoying my nice Sunday. Shout out to all my knowledgeable people out there. Shout out to all the people that be showing me love. The cash apps, I appreciate that. Shout out to my sponsors, Pound for God, um, and Throttle. That's a bike life thing, man. Throttle. Respect the Throttle. Y'all go check them out. And Respect the Throttle on IG. Tell them Big Boosie sent you. But yeah. Make sure y'all subscribe if you're new to the channel. Please hit that like button on the comment and hit the notification button so y'all know when I'm up here. And we doing this knowledgeable things that I like to do. Period. Now I'm gonna get into something real quick. Tony Yayo was doing the Shay thing, and him and Shay got into a conversation about Dame Dash. Do we think he was a little cocky or whatever? We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna let the clip play, and then y'all tell me what y'all think is fair use. This is Shay Shay's. Y'all can see the whole thing over at Club Shay Shay. Y'all go check it out. But I'm gonna play this specific clip, and we're gonna get into a little bit of details about things. Because a lot of people be having their thought process and opinions, which is cool for everybody to have their opinion, which might sound correct to them, but we're gonna elaborate on a little bit of it. I'm gonna let y'all hear what Tony Yayo said. Major, what up? I'm gonna let y'all hear the clip what Tony Yayo said.
Do you feel like Dame was too cocky though?
Yeah, but forget the cockiness.
Because Tata and all them other niggas is eating. All them other niggas that was over there.
Yeah. It's Tata, boy.
Maybe Dame should have been a little.
Take no shots at the man, and then they expect the man to help you.
Yeah, of course.
You done took shots at the man.
That's the same thing with Buck and 50, or Game and 50. Once you take shots, I never took.
No. You're not finna take no shots at me and then get down on your luck and think I'm
Banks never took shots at no 50.
Right.
I never took no shots at 50.
No.
We brothers. We might have a disagreement.
Right.
But what I'm saying to you is, it must have not been a brotherly relationship over there. It was more business.
Right.
And I understand with that, because 50 didn't have to pay Buck's taxes or help him with that. It's business.
Right.
If I make $500,000, if you make me $500,000 and I spend $250, and I'd be like, Shay, damn, I fucked up this money. Can you let me?
No.
And if you say no, right?
No.
Because people always remember when you say no, they never remember.
They never remember the yeses.
Right?
They don't remember.
If you say no, is you in the room? No.
They remember. They never remember the 1,000 yeses. Only the one no.
Right. That's it.
Man.
Right? See? And so if you say no, you make me $500,000. I spend $250,000 or maybe 300. I'm like, yo, shit, I'm up. Iris in my back. And you say no, I'm mad at you now? Nah,
Right.
that don't make no sense. You gotta handle that on your own, brother. Do you feel like Dame was too cocky though?
Yeah, but
So yeah, y'all see, this is my take on that. For one, Dame Dash got too much pride to ask anybody for anything. To be honest, he wouldn't even let Jay-Z buy the rights to his percentage of Roc-A-Fella, his 33 and a third. They said Jay offered him 1.5 million. He wouldn't even take it. Right? That's one thing. That's one thing with that. So it ain't like he is pressed for money. A lot of people be having that in their mind, that Dame Dash is pressed for money and why Jay-Z don't help him and all that stuff. That's not even the case. He's not worrying about Jay-Z to help him do nothing. He's not over there pressed for no money. And once again, I'm not saying this because Dame is my boy. I'm just saying it's just actual facts. And this is why Dame is going back and forth with Charlamagne and them. I don't know, my boy upset, but people like that put stuff out there into the world as if somebody's broke or ain't got no money, and everybody else want to repeat it, and it turns to a tidal wave, and That's mostly what you're gonna hear overall. Something good about him going to the prisons to speak to kids and stuff like that. You know, they don't talk about stuff like that. But Tony Yayo was saying how maybe Dame was too cocky, or it wasn't brotherly love. It was just business. He could understand it with Jay-Z. Now, if it was business, that's a fact too. But what happened was when Jay-Z dipped out, you know how everybody say Jay-Z dipped out or wanted to separate himself, was having meetings that Dame ain't know about, had his lawyer in the meeting. That's when y'all seen Dame in there woofing. Um, long story short, they uh, once they actually separated and split the money, Def Jam gave Jay-Z Roc-A-Fella back, and once he got Roc-A-Fella back, and not only that, it was a pact in the clause that Dame can't use Rock nothing no more, and it was a way to actually blackball him. So he really couldn't make no moves with the same way he came in when he created Jay-Z. If y'all seen Big Daddy Kane movement, Kane said he was trying to get uh Jay-Z signed. And Shay asked him, said, well, what, you know what happened? He said, well, what was the people saying, what the people were saying when you was trying to get him signed? You know what Daddy Kane said? I don't even want to speak on it. You know, that was then. I don't really want to speak on it, what they were saying. But I'm gonna give you an example of what they were saying. This is what Dame was saying. They were saying Jay-Z looked too old. Now, if they were saying anything else that was derogatory, I understand why Big Daddy Kane would say. I wouldn't say that neither, because I'm not here to disrespect Jay. I'm just here telling a story. But they said he was too old. So Dame and them went and put the money together and started Roc-A-Fella. And now they was blowing up. And like Yayo was saying, I don't know if it was business or brotherhood. Well, the way, you know, if people listen to stories how Jay-Z and Dame was getting money on the streets, real money, selling them birds and all that. That was you know, and they grabbed a bond. So eventually they turned into like brothers. But let's just say even if it was still business, and you did have a bond working with somebody for a long time, even if it was selling drugs on the come up before they got to the label, you're gonna have that bond with a person. So now once you start a label and Jay-Z, according to Choke No Joke, that was there, I'm quoting word for word, Jay-Z was never even in the office that much. Yeah, he was a partner, but everyday operations that was handled and all the power moves and main talking to the staff or to the powers to be that was partners with them through Def Jam or whatever, Dame Dash handled that. So it puts Jay in that position. When they broke up, the artist gonna get more recognition anyways because he's the rapper, he's the forefront. Damon is not a talent. He just was a face figure up there. So what they did, this is why Dame don't like Lil Corn, because he played the separation game and got in Jay ear and he separated him. Then put him on Def Jam as the president, pushed Dame Dash to the side. Now once a person get pushed to the side with the business that he do, what, you know, eventually you ain't gonna make as much money as you used to. Things is gonna, you know, probably be at a standstill and you're gonna decrease a little bit. It happens like that until you find your next move that you want. But they put Jay-Z, kept him in status um, of, you know, being the president. So there's no such thing as like, did Dame mess up as if he was working for Jay-Z? He wasn't working for Jay-Z. Tata and all those other guys worked for Jay-Z. At one point in time was working for Jay-Z and Dame Dash. Major said, shaking my head, pushed to the side. Exactly. That's exactly right. You see, people don't word it like that when they get on these big platforms. They word it in a manner of as if Jay-Z was bigger than Dame. He was the brains to that operation. And Def Jam, like Choke No Joke said, Def Jam pushed Dame out and hired Jay-Z as the president. Now, as a company that would want to put somebody in the president's seat of their company, which one would you think they would pick? Not saying Jay-Z is dumb or none of that. You know he know business. And at this point, he done learned a lot of business moves. I'm just saying, at that point in time, whoever was making the power, a company would outweigh who they would want to hire for utilizing brains and making power moves at that time. And this is what Choke was saying. It would have been a person like Dame. But yeah, he's cocky and talk crazy to people, but he only talk crazy to people that try to disrespect what his artist was doing or what the company or trying to violate against that company. But when you scream so loud, people and it's in a tone like you want to fight, people, it goes over people's heads that is spectating and seeing like, damn, well, he is yelling a little loud. The good part go over their head, but nah, he yelling about his money. A lot of people get it, but a bunch of people don't. Nah, he yelling about they trying to sneak they name on their stuff that they promoting and they ain't put up no money for it. Stuff like that. But he doesn't work for Jay-Z. So Tata and them is eating on the strength of what Dame put the position of Jay-Z in at this point. Even though he put his money up, but he showed him the business. Nobody wanted to sign him. And Dame took a chance. Whatever money they put up together, it could have failed back then. And it wouldn't be no Jay-Z right now. So it's a whole bunch of other reasons why if Jay-Z did think Dame was broke, it could be such a thing as, man, I know he may be, pissing me off, but I got some kind of love for him. Yo, go take this to him, man. You ain't even gotta tell him that I gave it to him, or take it to him and tell him I said, man, I know he don't want to talk to me, but he said, but to give you this, man, he still got love for you. But he ain't got to deal with him no more. That's it. But that's if he thought he was broke or needed him. But like I said, they ain't got too much pride to want to take something from Jay-Z. He wouldn't even sell him the percentage of the company for the 1.5. He'd rather found somebody else to buy it for 1.5 million, man. And that's analyzing. Artie Dom said, amazing. That's a fact. May said, that's how it goes. They never hire from within the company. They get outsiders. And that too. Finesse said, but they saying original flavor never popped off. So it was really Jay Greatness. They hire it's never the artist greatness. It's always 90% business, 10% artistry. Finesse. And it's labels that have it's big labels that have artists on their side, on their labels, and sometimes they don't even blow up. But they nice. And you wonder why. Beanie Siegel didn't blow up big the way they wanted him. They wanted him to be like a Kanye and a Jay-Z because he was lyrically nice. I was in the office one time and Dame was like, man, we about to put Bean's album out, man. I'm just wondering what's the struggle with him selling. Like, he's dope, nice as hell, man, but the album, we can't get him over gold. It just be like that sometime, man. It ain't just about the greatness. It's about the power moves and how you put them in play at that point in time. Everything was the perfect timing for Jay-Z at that time. So if Flavor didn't blow up, it's just because they wasn't at that time. But not taking away from what you said, Jay Greatness on that mic, that boy is nasty. One of my favorite artists, man. I hate him and Dame is not seeing eye to eye, man. But it is what it is. The man put a man in position. So, Yayo was saying, Tata and them eating, Emery and them over there eating. That's because of the things that Dame put in position for Jay-Z to blow up. Now they work for him, which they was working for Dame and Jay-Z when they was together also. Tata is not a comparison to they over there eating and Dame now not eating and all of that. Or Dame going through something. And, Jay-Z won't give him no money because he been talking, won't lend him money or look out for him because he been talking. Detrius said it's all just business, no love at all. Yeah, that's a fact. And it was love on the streets when they was hustling together. So once it turned into bigger money, millions of dollars, people start looking a little sideways. It's equivalent to hustling in the street and you think a person is your brother and he get locked up and you don't know about it, then he set you up to get locked up. It's kind of equivalent to that. It's pull you back down. Pull you down. And that's like in our culture, man. That's in our culture for some reason. For said, but I think the last straw was when Dame was acting funny about the false accusers. He was around Jay during the 2000s. He know better than that. What false accusers? I'm lost with that one, finesse. False accusers in the 2000s. Detrius said, "Can you imagine believing in someone more than anyone, and that person turning their back on you?" Yeah, that's a heartbreaker. Like, wow, I can't believe it. It doesn't happen to me putting money into this artists. I was putting money into artists, 10,000, 15,000. Then later on, we were getting everything rolling. Now they trying to be slick and do other side things after I put them in position, and they ain't them blown all the way up. I've got the radio spinning it, starting to get it in rotation. Then they doing little side stupid stuff. So can you imagine really going all the way like Jay and Dame did, and then all of a sudden Jay sides with the white man or the man that Dame is screaming on all the time? That's crazy right there. And he's screaming on him because he's going against our company. So Jay will play the background, let Dame do the screaming, and then it look, he's the innocent one. But when a person is a loudmouth in the room and fighting for me, man, I ain't turning my back on him. I don't care. But I might try to tell him, yeah, just tone it down, man. Let's don't scare them up like that. Let's just get what we need to get out of it. Let me keep my people with me, man. They ain't more money than he ever did with Jay, though. They both ate off each other. That's a fact. It was the yin and the yang. That's a fact, finesse. Dame sold Roc-A-Fella for 20 mil. He never would have made that fortune with original flavor. That's a fact. Because they never went nowhere. If they was going to go somewhere, even with him having Jay-Z, would have been enough crutches to pull them up with them, too. So that's a fact. But that still don't mean that he wouldn't have been able to find another artist after original flavor if he didn't have Jay-Z and still made that move. It's all about just keeping the business rolling and pushing. That's it. Keep the business rolling and pushing. And one artist gone, you get another one. That's what the Def Jams and the Universal Records, that's what they do. They bring artists in every year. They bring it in and signing artists, putting them out. If one don't go over a certain amount of record sales, they shelf them. And that's just how it goes. So they are a record label. So Jay-Z was just the start of a good record label. When they started Def Jam, they started it with Run DMC or LL Cool J or both of them. And they had two big hits. And it took Def Jam to where it's at right now to this day. Dame Dash and Jay-Z would have been one of those on their own if they would have still been together. Come in and separate. That's why we don't go and get no further. Finesse, remember the fake Busby accuser Dame was saying, see, that's why I'm not in their position and around them, making it seem like Jay was guilty. But then he spun around and he said he never believed it. Yeah, Dame is saying that because he was all, well, I can't really say why he said that part. For real, for real. But he always say that these people out here, when they think you got a lot of money, they come up with all these crazy scams and schemes that Busby lawyers doing. And that's why he's saying he didn't really be around like them. I don't know though really how to tell you that one, but I remember that though. Jay must have been distraught because he shouted out Dame when he got that award. So he didn't really have smoke for Dame at all. But that was like a low blow. Why you think it was a low blow? It was a low blow. Jay-Z shouting him out and letting Dame know, or I don't know, man. I wish they would have worked that out, man. You know how powerful. Everybody know how much money would have been circulating through their movement alone, all the way down to selling merchandise. That would have been crazy, man. It always be us black brothers, man, that don't keep something powerful like that in rotation. Generational wealth. You know how many people would have had jobs just because of them two together still, man? Damn. Jay-Z and Dame haven't worked together. Mike Parker said is they aren't just not seeing eye to eye. They are no longer friends. It happens. People will realize Jay is better at business. Well, according to Choke No Joke, all of the Rock La Familia, it failed. None of Jay-Z's joints got off the ground that he put together from scratch. None of them. Only thing that was powerful is when Def Jam signed him, which is a powerful label already. So he didn't really do no work. That's not work. I'm just keeping it 1,000. And he found Neo. He signed Neo and he signed Rihanna. Yeah, y'all. This is wild, man. It's wild every time I start flowing and talk about something with Dave, man. It's deep, man. But yeah, Mike Parker said, you know, in business you will have dozens of business that will fall over time, but it's the overall scope of business career that matters. Rock Nation do say, Ace, Uber. Uber's established company. Anybody could buy into Uber. Ace of Spades, that was a good look. Title, Nicki Minaj is beefing with him, saying he robbed her for her money and a few other people, and they scared to speak up. Rock Nation is really channeled and being carried by Live Nation, so that's not hard to do. Put another company up under you with something that you're doing already, and if they already are in the midst of what you're doing, as far as with artists already, it's not hard. It's nothing that was created from scratch, the way Roc-A-Fella was created from scratch, and Dame Dash molded it together with Jay-Z being an artist and fought for it. And then he created Rockaware, which went off crazy. And then he brought in some of the biggest artists in the world, Kanye West. Everybody saying he made another Hove. Why? But Hove was right there with him, Kanye West, and he's bigger than Hove. He's like the Michael Jackson of rap. He created a humongous comedian. You got to look at his movies. You know, they keep saying Honor Rupp wasn't all that. I get it. That's everybody's opinion. And saying his movies wasn't, his movie making ain't nothing. You forgot about Death of a Dynasty, State Property. Everybody loves State Property. That's like a classic. People still waiting for 3 or 4 to come out. Finesse said, and remember what he sold title for, 297 million. He created that from scratch. Yeah, but people saying that if Nicki Minaj and them saying that was funny business going on, and they was competing with Apple once he left. You never hear about them. And he sold his stake of Duce for 750 million. No doubt. Now, where did he learn the liquor game from? Remember Armadale that Dame had? Dame had the Armadale vodka. He's learning all of that. Remember these reality shows? These reality shows going on? Who created reality shows? Dame was one of the first with the reality show. The Hustler. What was it? The Hustler reality show? Nobody had one of them. And then Puff came with his with Making of the Band. But Dame was the first. Who learned from Russ? Jay-Z or Dame? However it may go, Dame already knew the business. You gotta go with from first ground zero up to where they are at now. You gotta go there. Yeah, they wilding on me, y'all. I wanna respond to Mike Park. He said if it's not hard, I want to see if it's not hard, I want to see other billionaires. Dame should be a billionaire then. Everyone says hitting the baseball is easy in the pros until that fastball comes. Well, let me explain something to you about that. When you're doing a business that you started with and you get blackballed or gatekeeped or they push you to the side and you try to create something else, it's not going to be that easy if that ain't your element. Now, if he would have stayed in his element, he would have been a billionaire. If other labels would have just gave him, wouldn't have been listening to the, he can't use this rock no more, he don't sign him, did sucker moves to him, he would have had a chance to make all the moves that he been making because that's what he was famous for. So if he's famous for it, if you say this cup got soda in it that tastes so good and put a name on the side of it, people gonna gravitate to it. That's just how you sell liquor, that's how you sell clothes. So that's why Jay was easy to maneuver with all these other companies, because he watched and learned from being in Roc-A-Fella with Dame. I'm not knocking it. Shit, that's how you rock and roll. If I go somewhere and learn something from somebody, I'm rocking and I'm moving with it. So I'm not knocking that. I'm happy he made his moves, period. I just don't like, the fact that you stop another brother from making their moves and continuing their journey. Cause it's just that simple. Mark Parker said, I appreciate your loyalty to Dame is honorable, but it's also okay to say he made a lot of mistakes in how he's done things as well. Jay even offered him the Roc-A-Fella name. No, they signed a clause for him not to be able to use Roc-A-Fella. That's a fact. And Choke No Joke, if you did go over there, check it out on his page. I forgot what episode it is. He spoke on that and he was there. So he couldn't use no name, and they said that it was some other stuff that was saying that they wanted Jay to do a project, but he said he would do it as long as Dame wasn't a part of it. That was another thing. All this stuff is out in the open, so that's what I'm saying. It ain't, I'm trying to figure out where the mistake happened at. Everybody said he made mistakes, but what mistake is where it happened at? Him woofing on the big execs up at the labels, and what else? I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay, the Finesse broke it down. Said he offered all his masters in exchange for reasonable doubt before he officially split. Dame and Big refused. That bit them badly in hindsight. Yeah, that's ego stuff amongst them. So, I get it. But yeah, I remember them refusing that. You're right. But however that may go, Big's reaping benefits. He's still making moves with Jay-Z. So I'm just trying to figure where, like the mistakes that everybody say that he made. I'm trying to think of one. Give me a good one where y'all say he did this or he did that. Cause I don't see none. And and another thing, like Dame is lovely, lovely. That's a fact. Um, that I definitely know on that part. I just I just don't like the fact how people, not just Dame, people come up with stuff on anybody, and it don't even be the right and exact type of situations, man. And it's like a rumor that'll spread fast because people like negativity spread faster than something positive. Finesse said, but that showed Jay was egoless in that situation. Look how much Irv made off of selling Murder Inc. masters, like 200 mil. Jay could have done the same with the Blueprint and Black album. Big mistake. Yeah, you got to give him that. He was egoless. So I would wonder what would be the reason why they wouldn't, unless they was too. I don't know. That's a good one, Finesse. Mike Parker said, stop using Choke No Joke for a credible source. Damon Biggs and Cameron all say Choke is a liar and was not involved in the day-to-day at the Rock. How you gonna say that when Choke is the one that filmed the one when he was in the office screaming, filmed it when he was screaming on Leo Cohen, filming all the stuff that he got. He just showed Cam the other day that he was a liar. Cam said that he was never around him, and he's inside of the room when all Dipset was together. Cam said, you never was in the room. He said, oh, I wasn't in the room? He just showed it the other day. Said, you a liar, Cam. And he showed him he was in the room with them with the film. He was Dame cameraman. Dame told me out of his mouth. We was doing radio interviews, and Dame always brought Choke. They said Choke ran on him in London. So if he ain't no day-to-day operation, what he doing all the way in London? If they don't want him around in the office, why would they? Yeah, they playing with my channel, man. That's crazy, man. All right. We had Mike Parker said, he said if it's a lie, then Dame and Biggs both telling the same story on Choke. Because they both probably just mad at Choke as well. But he already been proven and showing receipts. So I mean, whatever Dame and the Big said, he's showing receipts right now. He also said that when Cam said that they first time they ever did the horse and carriage, him and Mace was on Apollo. He said that's a lie. He said, you want me to show you, Cam? I got the footage when y'all did it at the tunnel. What is you talking about? So whatever Biggs and them mad at him about, or or uh or saying that he a liar, I don't know. Maybe he did lie about some stuff, but everything he's saying ain't no lie. And I'm just spitting. He was letting you know he was around. I used to see him up in the office, and I wasn't up there all the time. And I was there when Dipset was doing mixtapes and bringing them to the office and sending them uptown, separating them with Jewels and Santana. Jewels, Santana, and Jimmy was the hype man. I was down there then, and Choke was around, so you can't tell me he lying. Maybe if he lied about some stuff, I can't dispute that, but it don't matter. That's their business. And then he could say another thing. He said one of Dame's mistakes was not wanting, uh, wanting to spend his own money and not using a line of credit. Well, when he was saying that, he's meaning he don't want to take nothing from no big executives from Def Jam and all of that. Because once you buy into them, a lot of this sucker stuff coming around. You see why Puff is locked up. They saying that he tried to go against that liquor company, and then now they got mad at him, and they found his weakness, which was Cassie. They paid for them lawyers, and they got him took down. That's what happens when you deal with them type of people playing with their money. Now, get investors and stuff, he'll get an investor, but it just depends on how he maneuvers it and still spend his own money. that be the less headaches. That's why you keep hearing about everybody that's going to jail that been dealing with these people, man. Or something always happening to them when you playing, when you go ahead and let them slide you into their web and give you money. You always gonna owe for some reason. Guarantee you that. That's a fact. Um, Finesse said when Irv made that Fortune off Murder Inc. catalog, I remember everyone in the comments being sad that Dame foolishly refused to exchange Reasonable Doubt masters for Jay other albums. Mike Parker said overall Dame's biggest mistake was not developing strategic partners and alliances. Jay knows I don't have to be friends to do business with you. No, that's a fact. You ain't gotta be nobody's friend to do no business. But once again, Dame got American New. So hopefully he can take that to the next level. And he has partners with that. So he's exercising that. They ain't got to be held accountable for bringing Cam into the fold. Remember, Cam was dissing Jay on the side album. That was the root of the tension. Yeah, that's a fact. And when Cam went up there, he said Dame saying that Cam, he told him, I guess he talked to him about being the president, but he didn't tell him to go public with it and start speaking about it. I think Cam did something about it the other day, saying he broke it down how Dame presented it to him. I didn't get the gist of it, but I'm gonna go and research that. Yo, Finesse, I ain't never seen nothing like this either. I start talking about Dame, and this is what happens, man. This is wild right here. And we witnessing blackballing to the T. Come on, YouTube, with this, man. We having a good grown men, grown women conversation over here, man. Like, come on, man. We just spitting our opinions over here, man. That's crazy. Mike Parker said one last mistake Dame made when Jay offered him 1.5 million for the last year. He should have took or negotiated for 2 or 3. Jay would have gave him cash quick. I agree with that one. I would have just grabbed it. I wouldn't have let my ego get to me like that. I would have, yeah, I would have took that too. So, but that ain't a mistake that just cost him. I mean, it cost him his own money. But I'm just saying mistakes for him rising to the top. It wasn't no mistakes in that behalf. He was blackballed, so it wasn't nothing he really could do. That's my point with that. So if he could have stayed on the path of making moves with the artists, he still would have had Dipset and all them around. He still had Kanye. Kanye probably would have went with him because he would have had a platform for him. So, and Kanye still is his man. That's his boy. He just ain't speaking on nothing. I don't know why he got quiet, but because he'll say something about Jay-Z in a heartbeat. But we was in the studio with Kanye, and he was loving. He kept telling Dame, "I'm glad you came, man. Damn, OG, man. Man, love you, man." So I seen that with my own eyes. That's Dame dealing the ego. Finesse said he did the same thing when he refused to give up the Reasonable Doubt masters for Blueprint. Right. Everybody know he's a strong-minded dude, man. Andre Davis said Jay-Z sabotaged negotiations with Dame. Finesse said if Irv sold his masters for 200 million, Dame could have sold his for like 400, 500 million. You damn right. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. But you know, bottom line to say what on Club Shay with Tony Yayo, that's not a comparison because Tata and them over there eating and stuff like that. Jay-Z making sure they eat, and that all that still is on the strength of what Dame created for Jay-Z. That's what that is. So he's not Tata and them with Jay gonna make sure that Dame eat. They are business partners. If anything, he would give, if he was gonna give money, which we know Dame ain't gonna take no money from him. But and it ain't like Dame need no money from him neither. He's not hurting or starving or none of that. But if he was to give him some money, it would be money to some big money to make some moves or open a business up. It ain't like he just wants some money or needs some money. That don't got nothing to do with nothing. So that's why, you know, I wanted to bring that up with the Tony Yayo movement. But Tony Yayo, like he said, he ain't say nothing crazy about. He would never say nothing crazy about Fifth. That's the big bro. That's the homie. That's love. He said, but we'll politic about it in behind scenes. So yeah. So that's a fact, and I admire Tony Yayo loyalty to 50. For real, for real. And people be hating on it that he loyal to 50. That's be the crazy stuff in comments. Every time he talk, he's talking about 50. Like, damn. Fifth gonna come up in a conversation because that's the life they've been living for years now since they've been successful. How you not gonna say nothing about him? And if he want to express his love for his boy, then that's real man stuff. That's how you do that. That's the problem. Y'all don't want to hear the real stuff and the real love that people got. So yeah, yo, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna figure something else out, man. Cause they wilding out on me on this joint. But good talking to y'all. I'm gonna see y'all in a minute. I gotta figure out something. When I talk about other things, I don't get none of these headaches and none of that. I don't know. But YouTube, stop doing me like that, man. Y'all hit that like button for me, subscribe. I'll see y'all in a minute, man. Shout out to all my knowledgeable people out there. I appreciate y'all coming in rocking with me, man. And keeping me abreast with what y'all got going on as well. Mentally, far as the input y'all just gave me, man. I appreciate that, man. Keem, salute. I'll see y'all in a minute.